Well, hello, Carl and Anthony. Hey, it's the hardcore legend Mick Foley saying hello. What a beautiful afternoon it is. Wow, gorgeous May afternoon. There's a view of the river at the Foley compound. Just want to say hello to you guys and let you know that I'm looking forward to listening to you on A to the K, the podcast. I am not yet exposed to much in the world of podcasting, but I think I'm going to start. I hear great things about you guys. I appreciate you being fans. I'm going to go out on a limb and just guess that you guys are big wrestling fans. So I'm going to thank you for your support over the years. Have a nice day.
So, are you happy to move into SmackDown?
Let's do this thing.
Yeah, I mean, happy is probably a bit of an overstatement, but shall we do it anyway?
If we must.
Right, so we open SmackDown, Carl. Lights go up. That stupid music's played, and we have The Miz and John Morrison in the ring. It's time for Miz TV. So they go to, in a weird sort of overeager element, Miz goes to introduce his guest on Miz TV today, which is going to be Otis, but then is interrupted by Otis's music playing because he's eager to get to the ring with his little case and so on. And then it just basically, Otis comes to the ring and it evolves to a series of quite poorly executed, poor taste, hackneyed old style fucking bullshit fat jokes. Like, we get it, he's a bigger guy, but they had like the chair break on him, and then basically, you know, Miz and Morrison, I didn't even note their exact sort of insults, but just insults him for a few minutes about being fat and why he's been handed this sort of, basically, it was one point I will agree with the Miz on, is the fact that it's like, you've won the Money in the Bank without even climbing the fucking ladder, and you just caught the case. And that was a bit of a bone of contention anyway, because I think we discussed over the Money in the Bank results is like, when did the rule set in that it's whoever like catches the case? Like, why didn't AJ win it on that sort of basis? But nevertheless, it was just sort of, yeah, let's do that. And then ultimately, they ends up with this challenge of a tag match, and then we fall into yet another week because Tucker has apparently got, I can't even remember what he said he had now, but he's got some sort of illness or whatever. So he wasn't there this week, and he had to find a tag partner. So the mission this week, again, is for someone to find a tag partner for an impromptu tag match that was arranged at the beginning of the show to close out the show, which we saw last week. So let's do it again.
Yeah. We see it most weeks.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's like, this guy needs a partner. Who's he going to find? It's like, why are we doing this all the fucking time? Like, I feel like SmackDown's become very tag heavy at the minute as well, which is kind of weird. Yeah, so what do you think of the opening segment, Carl? I thought it was shit.
Fucking shite. And I know this is a point of contention maybe between us as well. I fucking hate Otis. Really hate Otis. He's just...
This is probably going to be one of our topics for the future, because I don't mind Otis. What I don't like is the way WWE book him sometimes, like this now with the fat jokes and stuff like that. I don't like that element of it. He can be a credible wrestler. He can be over with the crowd. He doesn't have to be a stupid fat guy, which is how they like to book him. It's like, oh, he's a dumb redneck who likes his food. It's like, why are we doing this? Like, he doesn't need to be degraded.
It's not even that. And I don't want to take away from an eventual discussion we'll end up having on this. It's not even the fact of how he's booked. It's just his character just pisses me off. Just like oh yeah. And like I don't know. Like, it started off as a bit of lighthearted kind of relief in the tag division, and then it's like, seriously, you're pushing this guy, and everything he does now is just fucking stupid. Everything he says is fucking stupid, and it's just I'm done with him already, and it's a bad thing for me to be done with him when he's just got the Money in the Bank. Like, if he ends up winning a fucking Universal or World title, I'm done, I think, because fuck me, there's no way he's ready, and the character he's got is just, it's shite.
I'm on more Team Otis than you are. I think that's probably why the discussion is merited, and I won't go too far into it. But I do agree with you that it's too soon for him to have a title run. So it's either going to be, for me, realistically, it has to be a failed attempt at the Universal title, because he shouldn't be in the Universal title picture just yet. Or, and the rumor mill would have it that this might happen, is that he uses the cash in, because everyone always assumes it's going to be the top title. The suggestion is that he might use the cash in for him and Tucker to go against the tag champs. I'll say tag champs because it's not necessarily... Yeah, I mean, the fact that we've not seen Tucker in a long time, and he's had a singles run for a while, but...
The only thing that would make this make sense, and somewhat plausible would be if he sacrifices his Money in the Bank for Mandy to have a women's title shot or something like that. I could understand. Like,
And
I don't
Mandy
think
turns on him.
yeah, like that would be fine. But like, I can't see him doing it for a tag team title match, and that would probably piss me off as well. And then if he cashes that in for a world title match, like, I don't know, it's just
Well, he's not going to beat Braun, is he?
no.
And hopefully we're moving into Braun versus Fiend, which this week has given no indication that that's going to happen. But hopefully we're moving towards that. Another little bit that pissed me off as well is when they asked him what was in the case, even though it's the contract and you don't need to ask what's in the case, just so he can make a joke about his lunch being in there as well. But
Yeah,
again,
100%.
he likes food. Like, oh, brill. Such great modern humour from WWE there. So the opening segment put me on a bum steer straight off. Right. So we then move on to the TNT the Intercontinental Championship tournament. Which, sorry, I did want to make that slight joke because obviously Sami Zayn's had to vacate the IC title. It's a nice idea having a tournament, but it feels like they've done it because TNT have had a successful run with the bracket tournaments.
Yeah.
Now, so they've announced the tournament. We kick off with Elias and Corbin. This was a long fucking match, but
I mean, it deserves the time because it's not like we've seen it before.
No, yeah, I mean, it's one of them. I mean, we've all been waiting for it again. But what I was happy with is that Elias got the win. There was no fucking around there. So Corbin is out of the tournament. Nice. This is a bit shit, though, because we've already been told on Raw that he's going to go for a match against Drew. So, nothing but Drew winning now, really, because if Corbin manages to get a win on Drew after losing to Elias, that's going to be a confusing set of circumstances. So, to me, it just smacks of like, well, you're clearly going to lose to Drew then if you can't even take out Elias.
For me, it's like, what does this guy want? 1 minute he's competing for the fucking opportunity for a world title. Then he's getting a fucking match signed to face the Raw champ. Then he's competing in the Intercontinental title tournament. Like, what does he want? Just maybe he needs to do a bit of soul searching. Is he not happy just being a king of fucking fucktards?
He wants all the belts, mate. All the belts and a crown.
Yeah,
but so I mentioned that was the kickoff match. So Elias is progressing in the tournament. Before I carry on, one notable entry in the tournament, which just seems a bit off, is the fact that AJ Styles is listed in the bracket.
Yeah,
being a Raw superstar.
What's that about?
Seems a bit odd. A lot of people, when I've gone to Twitter over it as well, have been complaining that there's no Cesaro and an inclusion of a Raw talent. Not quite sure what's going on there. And I must admit, I'm like, doesn't necessarily have to be Cesaro for me. I get why people want to push on him. He's good. But it's just a good example of like, there is talent there. So why have you had to bring a Raw superstar over? Don't understand that.
I think it's just a lack of explanation, isn't it? Is it?
Yeah.
Is it part of this fucking made-up rule they've got now, where some people can compete on other shows? Like,
has he been invited? Is it an invitational? Who
exactly.
knows?
And if it is, so what? He gets invited to the first round. If he gets past that, is he not allowed back? So then it's a bye for the next guy. Do you know what I mean?
And there's implications for me as well. So if he goes ahead in this tournament, let's say he wins and he wins the IC title, does he take that to Raw? Does he become a SmackDown talent? What does that mean?
Who knows?
Who knows? So, so that was a bit of an odd inclusion without any explanation, like you say. We then move over to Naomi versus Dana Brooke. It was a bit of a shame because I actually watched SmackDown Live this week, which meant I couldn't fast forward this bit. But no, joking aside, it wasn't a long match. It was actually not a bad match between the two of them. They're both good in the ring, Naomi more so. But it actually ended with a sort of a quick out of nowhere pin from Dana on Naomi. So I'm not quite sure. They've obviously got a bit of a push for Dana at the minute. I'm not quite sure where they're going with it because obviously she didn't really get anywhere in the Money in the Bank. But she's going over Naomi, which isn't a massive thing to say because a lot of people go over Naomi. But personally, for me, I think Naomi's the one who deserves more of a push, and I would legitimately like to see her in the title picture. But not quite sure what the aim of this match was, but Dana's getting a little bit of steam behind her, basically.
Yeah, I feel like they were like alluding towards like maybe like a Naomi heel turn or something, but I hope not because fucking hell, she's a shit heel. So I don't know.
Yeah. I think there was suggestion that it might have been a bit of that, but yeah, they don't need to do that. She's been floundering around doing nothing anyway, so it's not like she needs to be a heel or a face at the moment. Just book her with something. Anyway, so we had that match and that happened. We then go over, and I'm actually probably going to surprise you because I'm not as critical of it as you might think. But we then go over to Charlotte Flair turning up on SmackDown because she was invited, and she cuts a promo. She was only there to cut a promo, weren't even invited for a match like Corbin was. She was there to just say hello. Which is funny because she comes out like, oh, the people want Charlotte, and I'm working every show, hardest working woman. It's like, well, you're not working every show. You weren't on NXT this week, which seems to got overlooked, but there you go. And you just turn up to SmackDown to talk shit. So hardest working to me would be you like having one match after the other, which you fucking haven't done. Lazy git. Anyway, that little gripe aside, she cuts a good promo on, basically Bayley and Sasha turn up because, why not? They're heels. And are trying to talk shit. And Charlotte actually did what I think was a really good promo, and was very targeted at Sasha Banks and really pushing towards this inevitable sort of, hopefully, turn against Bayley and pushing into that feud. And I think it was actually really good. I enjoyed the promo itself. What I don't like is Bayley, and that's probably why Charlotte looks so much better, because Bayley is not a good heel. The stuff she says is really cringe and kind of, is it even, like when she's coming out with things like ding dong and going boom after saying so, it's like, is that heel stuff, or is that just you being a bit of a goon? Because it doesn't feel very heely. You just seem like a nerd. But it's weird. Another little note as well is that Bayley referred to herself when she was talking to Charlotte and trying to big herself up. She was referring to herself as the only Grand Slam champion in the women's division, when she seems to have just completely overlooked Asuka, who is also a Grand Slam champion. Just as a little side note there. I don't know whether that was deliberate oversight, because she's a heel, or whether she just genuinely fucked up and didn't realise. But overall, I didn't actually mind the Charlotte stuff because it progressed something, and something SmackDown related. How did you feel? It made a little bit of sense as well because they're all part of the Four Horsewomen. But how did you feel about the promo?
I don't know. I don't think I was as keen on it as you. I think I'm just. It's one of those now with Charlotte. I think I'm just. Every time she gets the mic, I just know it's never going to be good. So maybe I'm just too harsh on it. But I don't know. Like I don't think she's a great talker, and Bayley's certainly not a great talker, especially as a heel. So I think it's just a weird one at the minute, because I think we're all just willing Sasha to make the turn and for that to lead into something, which is something I'm actually looking forward to seeing. But I feel like there's just all these different obstacles and like stuff. It's just like just prolonging it. It may be a bit too much now.
Yeah, I'd say your points. Just get it going, But so fair enough. And then for some reason, despite not having a match in a while, we cut to a promo for the Forgotten Sons. I don't want to spend too much time on this, Carl, because it was basically we fought for our country. Yeah, we fucking know. Yeah, every time we see you, you mention that you fought for your country. Great respect to the armed forces, but you just a trio of fucking goons who just keep talking about the fact that you were in the Marines or whatever you were in, and you've forgotten people overlook you and stuff. All you ever do is bitch. That's why. But anyway,
it's quite ironic, really, isn't it, to think of themselves as forgotten when they don't fucking shut up about the same thing over and over again.
I'd love to forget you. You just won't get out my fucking face. But yeah, again, I don't think this is the right way to build the Forgotten Sons. We don't need promo after promo after promo, which seems to be SmackDown have got a little bit of a fetish at the moment for doing very quick, short promos with the tag teams, where they just have a little conversation and it's like done. Like the Usos kept doing it, New Day kept doing it, Forgotten Sons are now doing it. It's like, just if you've nothing to say, don't have a promo. Just leave it be. But that's them. They're gonna dominate. They're basically gonna go against the New Day at some point and win the titles probably. So that's all I want to say on that. Unless you have any notes on the Forgotten Sons, or you might have forgot. I don't know.
I've already forgotten them.
Yeah. We then get probably the highlight of the night for me. And with a bit of a sad tone to it, given what we're going to mention in the ringside report. But we had Daniel Bryan versus Drew Gulak in a stellar fucking technical match. No feud, no backstabbing E10, and just a solid good match between two friends. And it was an absolute clinic. It was a great match to see. And for me, it was a shame Gulak never got the rub, because Daniel actually took the win and progressed in the tournament. Although inevitably, and we'll talk a little bit more on the ringside report, but we understand now why Drew Gulak never got the win.
Don't give them ideas if you ever.
He's going to Raw, guys. Yeah, so I don't know what you made of this match, Carl, but this was a highlight of the night for me. It was a fucking brilliant match. Really,
it was a fucking, as you said, it was a fucking clinic. It was everything wrestling's supposed to be. It was amazing. It was a very, really strong match in an overall terrible SmackDown card.
Yeah, Totally agree. Right, and then after that, we had an announcement that Charlotte will, in fact, be facing Bayley next week on SmackDown. So she's been invited again, Carl. Yay!
Woohoo!
Yeah,
This fucking invitational thing, I'll tell you what.
I know. It's just so we can get Charlotte everywhere. I've actually heard rumours that WWE are looking at digitally imposing her onto all previous Raws and SmackDowns, so you'll be able to watch the first Raw featuring Charlotte soon, which I'm looking
I
forward to.
can't wait for that.
Oh yeah, it's great stuff. I think eventually they're going to superimpose her over some of the wrestlers, and we'll actually get to see Ric Flair versus Charlotte Flair. So we have that to look forward to as well. And then obviously the inevitable Charlotte Flair versus Charlotte Flair match. Can't wait to see that.
Oh yeah, the Queen versus the Queen.
But yeah, so all the Charlotte all the time. Right, and then the main event of the night, we had the tag match. The Miz and Morrison versus Otis and the mystery partner, which ended up being Braun Strowman, who he asked earlier in the night, and then Braun had to exercise while he thinks. Okay, sure. And then inevitably decided, yeah, let's fucking do it, right? So then we had stupid dancing Braun. Then he done the whole caterpillar with Otis, which it turns out Braun cannot do a caterpillar to save his fucking life,
Fucking hell,
or a worm, or whatever you want to call it. I'm more of a fan of calling it the worm because of Scotty Too Hotty. He's the real hero here. But yeah, so he tried to do it with him. They both sort of got the double elbows on Johnny Morrison, actually, surprisingly. And, you know, it's like, it's funny, but it's not. I hate it when they keep doing stuff like this with Braun, like when he dances with the New Day or when he does the worm with Otis and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, I get it. He's a big guy and that's not what he typically does, but humor doesn't come from going, that's not what he does. That's like just going, well, let's put Braun in a dress because that'd be funny because Braun doesn't wear dresses. It's like, that's not how humor works, guys.
He gets probably 50-50 booking, I think, Braun. He's like, on the one hand, he's like old school Big Show who fucking, you know, they just make out to be a fucking idiot every opportunity they can get. And then on the other hand, he's like older school Big Show who, you know, was a monster at one point. And it's like, I don't know, it's just, there's no consistency there. Again, it's like just character flaws of who he is as a character. Like if he's the monster among men who, you know, is going to tell you to get these hands or whatever the fuck his catchphrases are, then have him be that. But don't have him fucking attempting the worm and fucking stupid dancing and stupid fucking, oh, you got me a present, Alexa? Like stupid shit like that.
Yeah.
1 week.
It's just totally needless, isn't it? But anyway, inevitably, Braun gets the pin on the back of the caterpillar, I believe. And then they celebrate in the ring together with no hint of betrayal. But then Mandy Rose comes out to, like, I don't know, stand at the top of the ramp and clap Otis for some reason. Don't know if that's the first time she gave Otis the clap, but there you go. And hey. And then whilst Braun is distracted by Mandy for some reason, there's a hint that Otis might have tried to get the old sneaky cash in, but then Braun turns around, he's like, and he's like, and they still just kind of celebrate with each other, and it's like, well, you know, so we didn't get a sneaky cash in, which would have been too soon in all fairness. What I was disappointed is there was no showing of Bray Wyatt or the Fiend at all this week, not even with a slight little let's haunt Braun or anything like that. There was nothing at all, so I'm not sure what the absence was, especially coming off a loss. It's not really great to just put him nowhere. And that was pretty much SmackDown. For me, I'm giving it a 1. I didn't enjoy it at all, really. A couple of one really good. It's getting a 1 because of Drew and Daniel, because that was a really good match.
No, I've given it a 1.5, and literally just because of the same reason. So maybe I've been too fucking generous, but literally the only saving grace of that whole show was Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak. Yep. The rest of it was a load of shite. So
it was utter shite. And that was This Week in Wrestling, guys.
We're a positive pair,
We're
aren't we?
Positive. We're just two bitter 30-something wrestlers who think it wasn't as good as it was back in our day.